Now, the nightmare for Australian teacher Timothy Weeks could be over at last. Weeks is from Wagga Wagga. He was working at the American University of Afghanistan, in Afghanistan in 2016, when he and an American professor, Kevin King, were kidnapped by the Taliban, which is in a civil war with the government. Now, he's been held hostage ever since and been made to beg for help.
I don't want to die here. Not alone, not here. Please, please help secure my release so that we can go free from this place.
And now Afghanistan's President Ashraf Ghani says he has made a deal with the Taliban to release these men.
We have decided to release the 3 members of the Taliban prisoners. The conditional release of these 3 will not mean strengthening the ranks of the enemy and intensifying their attacks.
Afghanistan is going to release 3 Taliban commanders. That's the deal. 3 in exchange for the 2. Because it's trying to make a peace deal with the Taliban, but obviously this now comes at a very high price. One of the people that is going to be released by the government in exchange for Timothy Weeks in the American is a Taliban commander, the brother of the head of a powerful Taliban-affiliated terrorist group, the Haqqani Network. Now, the Morrison government is refusing to comment on whether it's part of this swap. It's refusing to comment at all on the swap. Joining me is the panel, Daniel Wild, Director of Research at the Institute of Public Affairs, and Claire March, who's advised 3 Labor leaders and is now head of Council House. Claire, look, your heart goes out to this guy. You know, this is terrible, and your heart goes out to his family as well. But it comes at a price, his release.
Well, I think, look, we really need to leave it to the experts. We're not in the know. There are people that are in the know. For important reasons, that information isn't shared. I do think the Afghani government has done a good job of explaining that the particular people that are involved in this swap, at least as far as they're concerned, aren't perceived as being, you know, a high security risk people. That they've classified them as not contributing to an escalation in the security risk. And it's reported that the US government are involved. So we know that there is, you know, the best and brightest of our military.
You say that. You make a good point. There's always experts and things we don't know. But in the end, the calls aren't made by experts. They're made by politicians. And that's what, you know, you've always, I think, got to put it on the line. The point is, Daniel, here the Taliban is getting rewarded for taking 2 hostages in exchange for 3 commanders. Maybe nice men now, but, you know, the Americans once had the head of Islamic State in their control, let him go thinking he was peaceful. You wouldn't want to be a foreigner in Kabul with the Taliban now thinking, hey, we need some more hostages to replace the last 2. They worked well.
No, I think that's right, Andrew. The first thing to say is there's obviously a huge sense of relief for the individuals involved in their family and their loved ones and their friends. But I think you're right, from a policy perspective, you have to think through what are the incentives that this might create. And that is why you often hear the adage that you don't negotiate with terrorists, because, of course, this sets up the incentive to gather hostages and to engage in these kinds of activities, just like the illegal people smuggling model, Andrew. What might seem as a nice or a considerate action on the individual level can cascade into something much worse on the aggregate level if you don't take into account the incentives at play.